Most people imagine the Sahara as nothing more than an endless sea of sand. Just dunes, burning sun, and silence. But that image is completely wrong. Beneath millions of tons of sand lie the remains of ancient rivers, lost civilizations, and even the bones of creatures that ruled Earth long before humans existed. The Sahara is not empty. It is a gigantic vault filled with secrets. Covering almost 9 million square kilometers, the Sahara is nearly the size of the United States. For centuries, explorers disappeared here, searching for lost cities, gold, and mythical places. But the truth scientists discovered is even more incredible than any legend. And the first mystery can be seen from space. In 1965, astronauts flying over Africa noticed something strange in the desert. A gigantic circular structure that looked like a giant eye staring back at them. Today, it is called the Eye of the Sahara, or the Risha structure. This massive formation is 40 kilometers wide. From space, it looks like perfect rings carved into the earth. For centuries, people walked across these rings without realizing what they were. When photos were released, many believed it could be the remains of Atlantis. The ancient philosopher Plato described Atlantis as a city surrounded by circular rings of land and water. The resemblance shocked many researchers. But scientists eventually discovered that the Eye of the Sahara is actually an ancient geological dome, slowly shaped by millions of years of erosion. Even though it is natural, standing there still feels unreal. But the next discovery in the Sahara is even stranger, because it suggests this desert was once an ocean. About 150 kilometers from Cairo in Egypt, there is a place called Wadi al-Hitan, also known as the Valley of Whales. Imagine walking through scorching desert heat. Sand dunes everywhere, no water, no life. Then suddenly you trip over something sticking out of the sand. It looks like a rock, but it's actually a giant spine. As scientists began digging, they discovered something unbelievable. Hundreds of whale skeletons buried beneath the desert. Some of these creatures were over 18 meters long. But the most shocking discovery was that these ancient whales had legs. These creatures were called Basilosaurus, predators that lived 40 million years ago. Their tiny legs proved something incredible. Whales once walked on land before evolving into the ocean giants we know today. But the biggest question remained: how did whales end up in the middle of the Sahara Desert? The answer is surprising. Millions of years ago, this desert was actually an ocean. Around 10,000 years ago, the Sahara looked completely different. Instead of sand, the region was filled with rivers, lakes, and green savannas. There were elephants, giraffes, crocodiles, and hippos. Humans lived here, fishing, hunting, and sailing boats across large lakes. Ancient rock paintings discovered in Algeria show scenes of people swimming, animals grazing, and life flourishing. These paintings prove the Sahara was once a lush paradise. Scientists discovered this happened because Earth's orbit slowly changes over time. Every 20,000 years, climate patterns shift. Rain moves north, turning the desert green. But about 5,000 years ago, the rains stopped. The land dried rapidly. Rivers disappeared. Lakes evaporated. The paradise slowly turned into the desert we see today. Many people were forced to migrate toward the Nile River, possibly helping create the civilization of ancient Egypt. But even after the desert formed, some civilizations tried to survive there. And what they built was extraordinary. For a long time, historians believed the Central Sahara was always empty. But satellite images revealed something shocking. Buried beneath the sand were the remains of more than 100 ancient cities forts, and settlements. These belong to a mysterious civilization known as the Garamantes. The Romans once described them as desert barbarians, but they were actually brilliant engineers. They built cities, roads, and farms in the middle of the desert. Their secret was water. The Garamantes created thousands of kilometers of underground tunnels called fogaras. These tunnels carried water from deep underground reservoirs into their cities. This system allowed them to grow crops in the middle of the desert. But there was a problem. The water they used was ancient fossil water that could not be replaced. Eventually, the water levels dropped. The tunnels became harder to maintain, and the civilization slowly disappeared, buried beneath the sands. But the Sahara still hides another mystery, one created by an explosion so powerful it melted sand into glass. When archaeologists discovered the tomb of Tutankhamun, they found a strange jewel in one of his ornaments. At its center was a yellow stone made from Libyan desert glass. But this wasn't ordinary glass. To create it, sand would need to be heated to almost 2,000 degrees Celsius instantly. That temperature is hotter than lava. Scientists eventually discovered the cause. Around 29 million years ago, a massive asteroid entered Earth's atmosphere above the Sahara. But it never reached the ground. Instead, it exploded in the sky in a massive airburst explosion. The blast released enormous heat that melted sand across hundreds of kilometers. The sand turned into glowing rivers of liquid glass. When it cooled, fragments of this glass scattered across the desert. Thousands of years later, ancient Egyptians collected these glowing stones. To them, they looked like frozen sunlight. But perhaps the Sahara's greatest secret lies deep underground. While drilling for oil in the 20th century, geologists discovered something unexpected. Instead of oil, they found massive amounts of fresh water. Hidden beneath the desert is the Nubian sandstone aquifer. It is one of the largest underground water reserves on Earth. This hidden reservoir contains about 2.5 million cubic kilometers of water. Much of it fell as rain millions of years ago when the Sahara was green. Some scientists say this water is so ancient that dinosaurs may have once drunk it. Countries like Libya built massive engineering projects to pump this water across the desert. But there is a problem. This water cannot be replaced. Once it is gone, it may never return. At first, the Sahara seems empty, but beneath its sands lies the story of oceans, lost civilizations, ancient animals, and powerful cosmic events. The desert is like a layered archive of Earth's history. Remove one layer and you find lost cities. Dig deeper and you find green savannas. Go deeper still and you reach ancient oceans filled with strange creatures. And beneath everything lies water millions of years old. The Sahara teaches us one important lesson. Nothing on Earth is permanent. Deserts can become oceans. Green lands can turn into sand. And one day, the Sahara itself may become green again. Earth is constantly changing, and we are only beginning to understand its secrets.